Giants have just taken the field, and Willie Mays with the New York and San Francisco Giants from 51 until he was dealt to the Mets in 72, accorded the honor of throwing out the first ball as he throws it up into the stands. He was going to throw out the first ball the night of the earthquake, standing on the field with Joe Morgan. Rescue workers, and tonight Willie gets his moment in the late afternoon sun. And Don Robinson goes to the mound for the Giants, trying to keep their hopes alive. And tonight Ricky Henderson leads off per usual for the A's. Carney Lansford batting second, same lineup as last night. Canseco hit a home run yesterday. Mark McGwire is the cleanup hitter. Dave Henderson, the biggest night of all, 2 homers and a double. He hits fifth. Terry Steinbach does the catching. The second baseman is the switch hitting Tony Phillips. Walt Weiss is the shortstop, and the winning pitcher in game 2 goes to the mound in game 4, Mike Moore. And the Giants defensively, the outfield, Kevin Mitchell, Brett Butler, and Donnell Nixon is in right. Roger Craig has shuffled the lineup again. He has Oberkfell at third, Williams at short, but he's moved Greg Litton in at second base with Robbie Thompson bothered by a sore shoulder and in a slump on the bench. Will Clark at first. Terry Kennedy is back of the plate, and Don Robinson, who has barely pitched in the last 7 weeks, goes to the mound.
His last start September 25th.
That was his last regular season start. He worked once in the playoff, get on somehow, leading off. And he gets a high fly ball to left field, and that one is carrying, and back goes Mitchell, and it's a launching pad again tonight. And I have to tell you, I've seen a lot of games in this park, and that fooled everybody. But on a winless night, what would be a normal routine fly ball goes out, just like last night, 1-0.
Now only Mark McGwire has not homered.
Lansford hits one to center field and right at Butler for the out. So 1 down in the first inning. Here for years, and what a difference it makes when the flags are limp. And Dutch Rennert lets him know it's strike 2, 3-2. And no designated hitter. Dave Parker on the bench. Popped up a mile high and playable for Will Clark with a lot of room here at Candlestick. 2 down. So Robinson goes 3-0 and then comes back to get Canseco. 2 out in the first inning, and McGwire wraps one on a hop. Great stop by Matt Williams from the grass, throws him out. The A's with a leadoff homer by Henderson have a run with the Giants coming up in the bottom of the first. And Mike Moore, who pitched very well in the second game, was the winning pitcher. 19-game winner during the regular season. He had spent his career up until 1989 with Seattle, came over as a free agent. And for the Giants, he faces Butler, Oberkfell, and Clark. Mitchell on the cleanup spot. Matt Williams hits fifth. Terry Kennedy is the catcher. Greg Litton is in the lineup at second base with Thompson on the bench. Donnell Nixon in right. Don Robinson, a great hitting pitcher, stymied in the series. And in postseason overall as well, 179 between the playoffs and the series, and 1 for 9 against Oakland. And he bunts up the first baseline. Moore fields and then throws the ball by McGwire. So Brett Butler, who has done that so often in his career, bunts his way aboard leading off.
They talked about earlier in the game that all 3 games they played him so shallowly, they've really left him only one offensive opportunity. That is to drag the ball.
Oberkfell with the Cardinals, and then the Braves, and then to the Pirates. It's grounded to the left side. Weiss goes to Phillips 1, and then back to first, not in time. A little bit out of sync on a ball hit not that sharply. So Butler sliding in to make sure Phillips couldn't get in for 20. And thus in postseason combined, an even 500. Duncan. 2-1 to Clark. He's hit high in the air to right center field. Dave Henderson and Jose Canseco, and it's Henderson making the catch with Oberkfell retreating to first. So 2 down. And
hitters. But what set up that fastball was, of course, the 2-0 split finger. You had to have Will Clark thinking.
Kevin Mitchell hits a grounder to the left side, fielded by Lansford over to Phillips. And the Giants are done in the first. 1-0 Oakland. So the current Mr. October stands in. And we had Reggie in our pregame show.
Bert Blyleven.
3-1 pitch is wrapped fair down the left field line and bouncing into the corner. And Henderson doing it again tonight. Last night a double and 2 homers, and tonight he starts with a double in the second inning.
I think the one thing that Roger Craig has to be concerned with, obviously, how many runs down.
In the air to right center field where Nixon comes over. Henderson is tagging, and Henderson is on his way to third, and the throw is cut off. It was offline, and Williams went over to cut it off. So Steinbach with a fly ball deep enough to Nixon to get Henderson over to third.
To play Oberkfell at third, and you play Nixon at right, you hurt him. But of course, he saw the 5 home runs by Oakland last night. He wants to have a better offensive club. You can't win in both ways.
Now the infield plays in with Tony Phillips at the plate and 1 out, and he hits a ground ball to the second baseman Litton, who looks the runner back, and they get a very big out. And that's a real big out, especially with no designated hitter. Now you've got a base open, 2-1.
That was during the regular season. In the postseason play against the Toronto Blue Jays, they did squeeze with 11 career home runs.
You go back when he hurt his shoulder, 1983, he hit over 300 with 9 home runs, 35 RBIs, playing right field in the Instructional League.
Pitchers, as you saw, 0 for the last 10 years.
That's trouble with the thrown ball.
And it's hit in the air to center field, and Butler races back, and it's over his head. Henderson comes in to score. Weiss is being waved in. He scores on the first hit by an American League pitcher since 1979 in a World Series game. On an 0-2 pitch that Butler had a lot of trouble gauging.
Like an instant replay, that shot, 3-0 Oakland. The Giants have not been ahead in this series yet. They have been tied once the score. They were tied 1-1 in game 2.
And that's grounded to the hole for a base hit. Moore is being waved in by Laxman. Here comes Kevin Mitchell's throw to Kennedy. Not in time. Down to second goes Henderson, and it's 4-0. So, and Craig will bring him in after Robinson can only go 1 2/3. 4-0 Oakland, and back we come to Candlestick after this. Very interesting sociologically to gauge the crowd the way it was
For the A's this year, and that's Lansford, and he walks it.
And that'll bring up Canseco. So the A's have runners at first and second. Canseco coming to the plate, and the crowd beginning to vent this frustration.
Also throws the split finger.
Canseco hits a high bouncer to third, and losing it in the lights for the moment is Oberkfell safe at first. Clarko is able to keep it near him, and Henderson has to remain at third. So a chopper, and you can tell Oberkfell lost it in the lights. The high bouncing ball. And he looked again, as you saw, at the bank of lights at the end of the play, and there he is again checking them out. So McGuire now hits a bouncer to short. Williams up with it, shovels to Litton, and the Giants limit the A's to 3 as they bat around and lead 4-0. And back we come after a word from our ABC stations. Williams, Kennedy, and then Greg Litton facing Mike Moore.
You know, the only thing that Will Clark can't do well is run.
It was Dick Grote. He was a slow runner, but an excellent runner.
And Williams wraps one into center field for a base hit. An 0-2 pitch and a single to center to start the second inning.
Yeah, 3 consecutive breaking pitches. That's the book on Matt Williams. Pretty easy to adjust.
I'm really surprised McGuire is holding Williams on at first.
And the pitcher's spot. Little bouncer to the right side, and McGuire is right there to glove it. Step on the bag, and down to second goes Williams, and that one was very much according to Hoyle. Thompson, the Giants' everyday second baseman, bothered for the better part of a month with a shoulder, also in a slump. Litton, as you see, 3 for 3 in postseason, 1 for 1 against the Cubs, 2 for 2 against the A's. And he hits it down the line in right field, curling in the corner and just foul. And the count is 1-1. Comebacker off the glove of Moore, who looks at third, has no play, settles for the out at first.
Even though he's got a 4-run lead, he's thinking about doing it. May not be the right play. I think that's.
And he's gone on 3 pitches, and the Giants strand a runner at third. And we go to the third, 4-0 A's. High in the air and down the line into the left field corner. Mitchell giving chase, and Mitchell goes into foul territory, out of our view, but makes the catch.
I wonder if he caught it in his glove.
Yeah, you wonder. Remember that play in St. Louis earlier this year when he overran one and barehanded it?
And Kevin making a fine play right near the fence.
Steinbach gets a bouncer that's bobbled by Litton, but he has time to throw him out.
Happened to a shortstop or a third baseman, no way to make the play.
Tony Phillips hits a high fly ball to right field. Drifting back is Nixon, but he has room and makes the catch. And it's a 1-2-3 inning. It remains 4-0.
Gives you an idea of what kind of year Kevin had. And only Ripken, who plays on grass, with 8. And even Ozzie made more errors than that this year.
His little bouncer off the plate, and Moore had trouble with the lights, but finds it and throws Lacasse out. Occasionally, as you know, if you watched last night's game, they lose the lights as well here. Game ending with 1 bank out last night. It's bounced through into right field for a base hit, and Brett Butler is 2 for 2 with a 1-out single here in the third inning.
Butler maybe does not bunt early, even though you usually play him that way. Might have been a step or 2 back. We saw what he can do because
in a situation like this, the Giants need something to get him stirred. The 2-2 pitch is lifted to left field. It's an easy play for Ricky Henderson, and Oberkfell becomes the second out. Butler is still at first base, and Will Clark is coming to the plate.
because he cannot pick up the spin on that pitch.
Butler going, the pitch is up and away, and the throw gets him. And we go to the fourth, 4-0.
A little bit more carefully, then they have to pitch with Mitchell. It's a 3-runner. We're back in the game.
Instead, the inning is over, and Weiss leads off the fourth with a fly ball to center. And Butler backs up to make the play. Lacasse has retired 5 in a row. Up to the plate.
I wonder if Mike hit on the sandlots of Eakley, Oklahoma.
Well, how much?
Johnny was telling us before the game he played against his older brother.
Ripped back into the glove of Lacasse.
Wow.
Parker may eventually lose his job as the DH the way this is going.
Street of Eakley, Oklahoma.
Second, so it's like a double.
Squibb to the right side, surrounded by Litton. He throws him out. Lacasse has set down 7 straight. And back we come to San Francisco after a word from our ABC station. That sums it up for the Giants right there.
Yeah, you know, he said he threw me split fingers last inning. Now he throws me a curveball. I haven't seen that in the 2 starts he's had, talking about Mike Moore. And then he throws me a 90-plus fastball.
Little chopper to the right side, and McGuire fields it, makes the tag on Clark, and there's one away. So Kevin Mitchell will be coming to the plate. To be announced, as they say in this business.
They've done a great job. They have not been the focus of this World Series.
And Mitchell swings and misses. Steinbach makes the tag. Mike Moore has his second strikeout, and in 3 2/3 innings he has limited the Giants to 3 measly singles. And called strike 3. 3 strikeouts for Moore. Giants gone swiftly in the 4th. 4-0 Oakland in that World Series. And so the A's, for the moment anyway, keeping that sort of company.
Especially in Oakland.
There's a grounder to third. Oberkfell throws, and Will Clark is able to scoop it and get out of the way. 1 out.
One of the toughest ballparks to hit in.
One of the many sites, of course, in San Francisco. And he lines one to left field and in front of Mitchell, who was playing halfway to Marin County. A base hit for Canseco. Kevin was back near the warning track.
Of a whole lot of people in the American League that get the bat through the hitting zone quicker than Jose Canseco. Even
the center field, Butler started back, now comes in, and in his tracks makes the catch. Canseco remains at first base, and with 2 down, it will bring up Dave Henderson.
the big difference is the one thing Bo Jackson has not done yet is hit for an average.
Henderson stands back in. Canseco goes. The pitch is a strike. The throw is not in time. Despite being right on the money, Jose got a good break and winds up stealing second. Little chopper foul. We chronicled that at the top of the show tonight. I think I misspoke on the open when I had this. Henderson takes one off his foot. I said Dave Parker had 97 stolen bases. He wishes. 97 RBIs. And Henderson is on. So Lacoste, who came in the second inning, issues his second walk. And the batter will be Terry Steinbach. Rick would not be able to start a game 5 now in light of the fact he has worked from the 2nd through the 5th. That's hit down the line in right field, and it's a base hit and more as Canseco comes in to score. Nixon still chasing it down. Henderson rounds third. He comes in to score. The relay to third is not in time there, and it is 6-0 on a triple by Steinbach. And again and again and again against Toronto and against San Francisco, you walk somebody and the A's kill you. What they have done now for the entire month of October.
Actually, the whole year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not a station-to-station team. I mean, even
in baseball.
Phillips hits one in the air to left field, racing over his Mitchell. That's over his head. Phillips has an extra base hit. 7-0 as Steinbach scores on a double by Tony Phillips. They walk Weiss intentionally here, which is what they did in the Reds, the team that swept the Yankees in the World Series. In that 4-game sweep, the Reds had 17 extra base hits. The A's now have 9.
this team has. Really, nor the glamour reliever.
No.
A well-rounded pitching staff that's obviously pitched very well in that World Series. We're going to try to keep them together.
And Moore gone on strikes, but the A's sent 8 men to the plate, score thrice, and lead 7-0. 1. Kennedy, Litton, and Nixon. 7 runs, 8 hits for the A's. Well, what's it like to be down 3-0 in the World Series and down 7-0? This is what it's like. Sweet for a team like the Giants right now. As he lines it to left field, but even when they hit it hard, it's at people, and Henderson has trouble with the lights, but is able to gauge it and make the catch. So 1 down. And again, on this 11th day, after those disastrous 15 seconds, the remarkable recovery continues. Fly ball to right field, but not deep enough, and Canseco makes the catch, and he too looks up at the lights. So Litton is gone, 2 down in the 5th inning. Into the city. So you've got them on both sides in the aftermath of this great emotional in those days. That's why there's no number on that. Christy Mathewson as well, as Nixon draws ball 4, and Bill Baith comes up to bat for Lacoste in the ballpark tonight. Bill Baith with a home taken over as the general manager. Hit back through the middle, diving stop by Phillips. He goes to Weiss and he gets him. And it's been that kind of night and that kind of series for the Oakland A's into 5-7-7. Notes from last night. Lost in the shuffle. Phillips last night became the first player in the history shuffle. Carney Lansford tied a World Series record held by several, scoring 4 runs in a game. Henderson, meanwhile, drills one to the gap in right center field, and the only question is double or triple. Well, there's 2, and he's on his way to third, and it's 3. And all Henderson needs for the cycle is a double.
Williams made a good throw.
Do you think Henderson would like us to be his agent maybe next year? Possible.
You mean could we be?
Please. Popped up. And back out of play. And the count 1-2.
For Ricky Henderson. Dallas Green takes over with the Yankees. He says we're going to do it. Did it 2 times in the World Series.
In the air to left field and playable for Kevin Mitchell as he comes over toward the bullpen and makes the catch in foul territory.
Yeah, but this would be an MVP for the World Series, and if Mike Moore continues and pitches a shutout, he will
Best in the league, and he probably does to Saberhagen this year as well. So maybe everybody will say as McGuire lines one into center, hey, the guy really deserves it. And it's not as if he's going to back into this award, but
no,
I think that's going to, that's something that's factored into the thinking. Dave Henderson is coming in, and we'll return to Candlestick after this word from our ABC stations.
Roger Craig, who said he's, a lot of people thought he may win a Cy Young award. That's the type.
Swinging and missing, and the count is 0-1.
Some astute comments about being off for 10 or 12 days. He said I was swinging awful when I came back, and of course he hit 2 home runs in the double last night as he doesn't get the good breaking ball.
And down goes Henderson. So Downs comes out of the pen to take care of Henderson for the second out. Celebration. I mean, that's when things are really going good. To Butler in center. And the A's pick up another in the 6th and lead it 8-0.
I think the final day is going to
Worked out pretty well.
Shattered bat, bouncer down to Phillips. 1 away, and Oberkfell will be the batter. Well, what's Moore been throwing tonight?
Stayed a lot of split fingers early, then went to the fastball.
Oberkfell grounds one to the left side, staying with it as Weiss straightens up and throws him out. 2 gone here in the 6th inning. For the Giants, and even though you don't say it before the World Series, but you talk about it when you write your books over the winter, it is just good enough to get there when you win the pennant for the first time in 27 years. A 2-out single by Clark to right as he keeps the inning alive, and it brings up Kevin Mitchell. But it's
See them snapping. We saw Terry Kennedy, and it's not to really point him out, but I think
well, the Giants on one hand, they'll go home, as I say, with a very bittersweet feeling with a World Series loss as Mitchell cranks one to deep left field, and finally they have something to cheer about in Candlestick. At the plate, and he pops it foul back of first, and McGuire comes all the way over, might have room, but no. In the regular season he makes the catch, but they put those extra couple of rows in for the World Series. In the series for the Giants, Williams hitting one yesterday that's grounded back of third. It's a fair ball. Lansford throws over to McGuire in time to get Williams, and the Giants finish in the 6th. They picked up 2, and it's 8-2 as we go to the 7th. And Moore is done for the night. He's gone back to the clubhouse, so he's pitched 6. A's have Gene Nelson throwing in the bullpen, and so we'll see a pinch hitter coming up third here in the 7th. Shallow left center. Williams out. Butler in. And look out. It's Matt Williams because he's taller. 1 down in the 7th inning. He's 2 for 13. The A's next year, among other things, looking to draw 3 million people as Weiss hits a bouncer down to first. 2 down. And what better way to sell a lot of advanced season tickets and just advanced single game purchases. Phelps batting for a man who was his teammate with the Mariners for several seasons.
Little young kids that may have to make.
Little pop up back of the mound, and it's the shortstop Williams making the catch. So Downs is set down to 5. He's faced, and we go to the bottom of the 7th inning at Candlestick. No one will ever forget. For that reason, on in relief of Mike Moore, who worked 6, and Mitchell in the 6th inning. And Kennedy is on.
Nelson, who struggled last night, only pitched 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 4 runs.
Francisco pen because Kelly Downs is. And 2-0, and Steinbach will pay a visit to the mound. And Dave Duncan will make it a threesome.
Yeah, this was similarly what happened to Rick Honeycutt in the playoff. A kid that came up with the Yankees, won 20 games in the minor leagues, 20-4, and spent some time with the White Sox.
That's hit to deep left field, and the Giants are trying to climb back into it. 8-4.
Tony La Russa.
And it's the second trip to the mound, which means that's it for Nelson. Honeycutt is in the bullpen. Not only is one Honeycutt here with Riles coming up, but sort of worked last night when that light bank went out. They'll do anything. That's hit in the air to right field and deep. Canseco going back, all the way back. That's off the fence, off his back and his feet. Maldonado rounding second, on his way to third, in with a triple.
Tony La Russa reminding Mark McGwire at first to play Butler in anyway.
0-1 is wrapped into left field for a base hit. It's 8-5. Henderson can only knock it down. Butler on his way to second, in there. Honeycutt, remember, what you'd regard as almost too much time off. Duncan back, Thompson hits for over, amounts to is Clark. The tying run is in the on-deck circle. That's hit sharply, base hit into left center field. Butler had to go back towards second. Now being waved in, around third. It's 8-6. It's hit high in the air to shallow right field. Canseco comes in underneath it and makes the catch, staying with him. Staggering for the moment under him. Clark just getting under him.
He just missed that slider.
La Russa comes to the mound. Todd Burns will come in. Kevin Mitchell will come up. He'll be the tying run. The Giants with 4 in the inning, and it is 8-6 Oakland. Todd Burns comes in to pitch as Mitchell represents the tying run. In the air to deep left field. Henderson going back, but has a play on the track. And the Giants come that close to tying it. Woo. To the 8th. A home run, a single, and a triple. The other time they got him on a next pitcher here in the 8th inning. Henderson, Lansford, and Canseco. Little squibber by the mound. Williams corrals it, has to hurry and gets it. One away. The Giants, the changers defensively here in the inning.
Hot streak.
That's grounded toward the hole. A great stop by Litton from his knees. Clark has to jump to come off the bag, and Lansford is safe. Throw.
Yeah.
Canseco walks on 4 pitches. So runners at first and second with 1 out, and Mark McGuire comes to the plate. The Oakland first baseman is 1 for 4. And when something like this takes place, it's oft times to give the relief pitcher stall again.
Dutch Rennert, the home plate umpire, slowly walking out, breaking it up. But remember, Bedrosian was warming up before.
And all they were doing, as we surmised, was buying some time, because here comes Craig, and he doesn't want to have to bring Bedrosian in here, but he cannot afford to give up another run. Uh-oh, he's lost his edge.
Yeah, well, they have tried to keep him sharp with the inter-squad games and stop that after some of the batters got frustrated.
Bedrosian in the game, he hits in the 2-hole, and McGuire pops the first pitch up toward the Giant dugout. Kennedy comes back, has room, has it for the out. Runners tag but hold as Terry runs it back and holds on to it for the second out. The unprecedented delay in the World Series and the resumption of it. And they're loaded up. So ball 4, they're loaded up for Steinbach.
So 3 and 2, you want to make your pitch. As we've said many times, you cannot afford trailing 8-6 to give up any more runs.
And high for a ball, and Kennedy's going to settle him down.
You saw once again 1-2-1-4.
And Craig is saying, hey, Steve, time out, baby. Go to your stretch, and he's not paying attention, and time is now called. Time is called. This was very interesting. Bedrosian is on the mound, ready to pitch from a windup. Kennedy had already said go to the stretch. Craig was calling time, saying go to the stretch, and time was called. No balk.
And the reason for that primarily is for the runner at first base. You prevent him from scoring on a long single.
He's got to throw it over.
3-2 pitch to Steinbach is low to force in a run. And that makes it 9-6. And again, the
Actually had to go back when the ball reached Terry.
And that's popped up in foul territory, and it might be playable. Going to be real close for Clark, and he makes the catch. I believe he does. Clark's going to come over to make sure. Yes! That's all you'll ever need to know about Will Clark. Ever. Oh, boy. And that's a line drive into the glove of Phillips. So 1 down. Dennis Eckersley throwing in the bullpen. Lifted to center. Dave Henderson. And 2 down. There is Eckersley. So the Giants, who in the bottom of the 7th were 3 feet away from tying the game. Now Litton. In the air to right center field, and playable for Dave Henderson as it backs up and makes the catch. So a 1-2-3 inning, and on to the 9th in game 4, 9-6 A's. He'll bat for Burns, and you'll probably see, well, forget about plywood. He would have gone into concrete in that same fashion in that situation. That's a one-hopper right to Will, and he makes the play. 1 out.
Commissioner Fay Vincent, Ed Fargo, National League umpire super.
Make that catch. Williams makes the catch, staying with it. So 2 down now in the 9th inning. Henderson. 9 runs, 12 hits for Oakland. 6 runs, 9 hits for San Francisco. That's grounded to third, backhanded by Williams. So the Trojans shuts him down in the 9th, and here come the Giants, down by 3. The A's trying to clinch. The other catcher. So Dennis Eckersley comes into pitch. He has a 3-run lead, and it would be Clark. You get to a 6th hitter, Mitchell. So here we go in the bottom of the 9th inning with Nixon to lead off. And tries to bunt his way on, and it's a good bunt to the right side, and Phillips shovels, gets him! Great play by Phillips, and McGuire with the presence to get back to cover at first base. So the A's continue to do it in every phase. Power, hitting, running, defense. Pitching, of course. Fly ball to left field. Henderson makes the catch, and the Giants are now down to their final out. So you've got Butler coming up. Not made life easy for them tonight. That's a ground ball to the right side, speared by Phillips, flips to Eckersley. Yes, he's there in time, and the A's are the world champions.